What do animals mean in our dreams? And are some dreams more important than others? We'll answer both of these questions today on DreamSpeak. I'm not going to keep you in suspense. Some dreams are more significant than others. We'll call these kinds of dreams big dreams. Their meanings are very important for us. We may be thinking of them on and off for years. Today, we're going to interpret a big dream that I had when moving across the country. 3 animals were key to the meaning of this dream. Everyone is always curious about what animals mean in a dream. They're such a common symbol. I would wager that everyone watching this video has dreamed about an animal at one time or another. Most people dream about animals on a regular basis. And people that love animals or feel drawn to animals may have dreams about animals all the time. To the pet owners out there, I bet you've had a dream about your pet. The significance of animals in a dream is easy to understand, but for some people, it may be a bit hard to swallow. By the end of this video, you'll have a clue that will help you unlock the meaning of animals in your dreams. Come along for the ride. Let's set the stage for this big dream. My wife and I were planning to move across the country. This was a big deal for me because I had always lived in my hometown. Maybe this is an experience you can relate to, moving to a totally new place. For us, the move was aspirational. We were finding an area we thought might offer a different mindset, a different culture, and more natural beauty. Have you ever had this experience? You know the experience is going to change you. So the night of moving day, when we were asleep in a motel halfway to our destination, I dreamed that I was visiting Antarctica. As I discovered after interpreting this dream, it was a big dream in my life. So let's take a moment to talk about big dreams. Once in a while, we all have a big, meaningful dream. Clues that you've had a big dream are that the dream is unusually vivid, that it brings out a lot of emotions in you, especially deep emotions that people don't experience on a regular basis, such as awe or reverence. These emotions are going to skew toward the positive, though not always. When I was younger, I had no relationship with dreaming, so I could go literally a year without remembering a single dream. During that period, I had a big dream that was a nightmare. We'll do a video on the meaning of nightmares at some point. Dreams are guidance for our life, and sometimes, especially in life's major transitions, we're likely to have a dream that is offering us guidance for a long period, for a long-term vision of what our life could be. At DreamSpeak, one of our beliefs about dreams is that they are always for our good. They're always trying to point us in the right direction. But some dreams have messages for us that may take years to accomplish. While dreaming, our relationship with time is a little different. So that's what a big dream is. We'll keep that idea in mind as we move through this dream interpretation, along with some other key ideas to remember. Right away, we're starting off good, right? Who wouldn't want to check that place out? However, in this dream, Antarctica is not so good. It represents an overall attitude which is just stuck, frozen like ice. Just by its distinctive setting, this dream has already given away its theme. Since we're keeping up some big ideas to remember on the right side of the screen, let's keep track of the symbols in this dream on the left. Ice in a dream means something that can't move, something that's frozen, something that's stuck in our lives. So I already have a clue that this dream may be about an attitude that I have that isn't really serving me, but that I'm having trouble changing. Something that has been glacially slow to change in my life might be a way of describing it. Because of the nature of a frozen or stuck attitude, the set of values that I'm living by has been impacted by this. When we have a part of our lives that we're living out of step with our values, it's going to cause us to sacrifice things that we really don't want to give up. Peace of mind, harmony in our relationships with those closest to us, self-respect. These are the kinds of things that we give up when we have a frozen or stuck attitude that we've really just outgrown. Another clue is that I'm in Antarctica alone. This dream might be about things that keep me feeling lonely. And this is the beauty of dreams. From just one symbol, I can begin to ask myself some deep questions that could really help me. Why would I be holding on to a worn-out, frozen attitude? My guess is that my motivation to protect something that is hurting me in other areas of my life is going to be fear-based. What do you think might cause you to do that? Stay tuned to find out what it was in my case. If you're enjoying this video, please give us a like and consider subscribing to DreamSpeak. Don't forget to click the bell to be notified when we post a new dream video. So the next thing I knew, I saw a really colorful crested penguin not far away from me, and so I wanted to go and grab it. My urge was to chase it and try to grab this penguin, but it got away from me. And then I turned around, and there was a different penguin. It got away from me, it jumped into the water, and actually I jumped in after it, but it swam away. It's a penguin. Then I saw there was a cat in the water, just like a house cat, but it lived in Antarctica. It was an Antarctic house cat. So I went to chase after it, and it let me pet it. And then I saw a pig. There was a big hog just in the middle of Antarctica. I guess it was an Antarctic hog. So what is the deal with these animals? Animals will be the second symbol that we deal with today. I want to give a disclaimer here that open-mindedness will be very helpful to taking in the meaning of animals in a dream, because we all have a relationship with animals. We have many preconceived ideas about animals, and those ideas run deep. Most of us are animal lovers of some kind or another. We're very nature-connected kinds of people. Many people own pets. But it's important to understand as you approach interpreting animals in a dream that animals are just like everything else in a dream. They're purely symbolic. This meaning of animals does not devalue our pets or other animals that are beloved to us. Cute, fluffy animals. There are always personal meanings to every symbol in a dream. And so this is a very rich kind of meaning for a lot of pet owners. But on the simplest level, the meaning of animals is counterintuitive at first, because animals simply represent habitual behavior, like a train running on tracks. Animals are about patterns of thought and patterns of behavior in our life that we become conditioned to, things that we do without really thinking about them, things that we do without really bringing our willpower to bear, things that we just do as a pattern of living. And in some cases, those habits are very powerful. I've had dreams where that shows up as a lion or some other very strong animal, and they can be good things that I want to keep and cultivate and potentially even make stronger. But just as often, it can be a habit for us that we probably want to work on, something that we'd like to change. So if you see wild animals in a dream like this bear getting into the fridge, naughty bear, then you're going to be getting an indication that you've got a habit that's wild and out of control. On the other hand, if you see barnyard animals, that might indicate habits that are positive for you because they're productive habits. Animals, generally speaking, represent habits. There are rare exceptions, and we're going to look at one major exception right now. There's an entirely different possibility when an animal shows up in a dream. One of the things that we have integrated into our dream practice, and something that you might want to integrate, and something that is just a great example of how your dream practice will grow and morph and become a richer experience for you, is that we have found value in interpreting animals also from a shamanic perspective. There are a few books that we rely on for that. Basically, when an animal seems to be a very positive force in a dream, we look up the shamanic significance of that animal. Oftentimes, the animal is not just representing a habit. Sometimes it's representing the shamanic significance. So that's something we can get into in greater depth in a different video. But let me just say briefly that animals carry this symbolism because they can represent universal qualities of life. These are meanings in animals that they have carried for human societies for countless generations. And they represent the passed down wisdom of our ancestral cultures, our ageless history of interacting with majestic and powerful creatures. The owl, the cougar, the deer. But it really could be any animal, a possum, a porcupine, a mouse. A small tip for you is that if an animal in a dream stirs powerful emotions in you, it may be sharing its totemic or shamanic significance, in addition to any habitual significance that may be present. So for now, we want to sock away the fact that most of the time, animals are going to represent a habit. And generally speaking, one animal is one habit, the next animal is another habit, and so on. That takes us to the end of the first dream from that night in the motel room as we were moving across the country. But it was followed immediately by a second dream. So we need to talk about a concept that we're going to call same night, same theme. The idea here is that if you remember a series of dreams when you wake up in the morning, in all likelihood, those dreams are connected as part of one larger message. They are trying to get across one main idea to you, one message for the day, and they're doing that from multiple angles or multiple perspectives. That's the beauty of it. Once you start to understand how to unlock the meaning of your dreams, you will start to be able to see, oh, okay, this dream is coming at it from this perspective while this dream comes at it from that perspective. If I put the two together, I'll have an easier time understanding the bigger picture and the guidance that I'm getting from both of these dreams. And again, because this was such a meaningful dream, it's really great that there were two dreams that morning that I was able to recall, because it helped me understand the bigger picture and the life-changing significance of this dream, as we're about to find out. So, the second dream that I had, I was in a house. So the idea here is that as we work through multiple dreams coming from the same morning, if they happen in the same night, they're going to be tied to the same theme. Same night, same theme. My grandmother was there. So one of the symbols that we're dealing with here is my grandmother. And my uncle was there. But there was something uncanny about him. You'll hear we at DreamSpeak use the word uncanny. Sometimes there are really bizarre things in dreams. The reason why these really bizarre things show up is to call more attention to themselves, because the dream is trying to get a message across to us, and that was the case here. My uncle looked really healthy, which is different from real life. He has chronic illnesses, and he's struggled with his weight for decades. So that's my normal image of my uncle. And so here is this healthy person standing next to me, but my uncle was also on the other side of me. To my left, there was a healthy version of him, and to my right, there was an enormous, gigantic, obese version of my uncle. I mean, huge, even almost to the point of being like a giant. Uncanny. So there were two versions of my uncle. Why would that be? At this point, we should talk about what people represent in dreams. When it comes to people in dreams, we typically try to remember to refer to them not as people, but as aspects. The reason to do that is because it's critical to understand when you're interpreting your dreams that the people in your dreams actually have nothing to do with the individuals who populate your life. The people who actually make up your waking life experience are just being borrowed by you as living vocabulary words when you sleep, and they're giving you insights about specific parts of yourself. Every single person that you ever see in a dream, along with every inanimate object in a dream and every setting, is going to be a part of you. So we're going to remind ourselves of this. We're going to remind ourselves that people in dreams are aspects of me. These two characters in the dream, my grandmother and my uncle, these are aspects of me. Now, what is going on with my uncles? Why does he look both healthier than normal and much, much less healthy than normal? And why were there two of them? Well, the healthy uncle spoke to me, and he told me that he had had a heart attack on Wednesday. That was a reference to our moving day, the day that I drove away from my former life in a U-Haul. My best understanding of a heart attack in a dream, which is an energetic rather than a physical level of meaning, is that when I feel overwhelmed by a feeling of being unlovable, that might show up as a heart attack. If someone feels profoundly unworthy of love, that might be symbolized by a heart attack in a dream. How do I know that? Well, we won't be able to cover that in this video, but we will definitely do a future video on what parts of the body and health problems mean in a dream. When I saw my ginormous uncle, who was so much more exaggerated than this picture can capture, it was a comical image. And in a dream, images that make us feel that way, that make us want to crack up, are encouraging us to keep perspective on our lives and to realize not to take things too seriously. It doesn't mean that there aren't important things in dreams, because this dream is definitely an example of that. But I'm also being reminded that life is essentially to be taken lightly, and with a playful attitude, you can solve life's challenges. So my uncle the big version of him, is sitting on the foot of the bed, taking up the entire thing, and he's lecturing the slim and trim version of himself about how he should have taken better care of himself. That is all about a loss of perspective. It's showing me that while I appear to have my life under control, there is a major issue which I am willfully ignoring, and it's hurting my health. The issue of believing that I am unlovable. It's comparing this issue to obesity. The message is trying to tell me that allowing this belief to go on unexamined and unchanged is as life-threatening as being seriously overweight. So what do these two dreams have to tell me when we put them together? Remember that these dreams should be assumed to be giving one message in two different ways. What could that message be? Well, we got lucky this time. The Antarctic setting was a big clue. The theme of both dreams is going to be about an attitude that isn't working for me. Something I'm set in my ways or frozen about. What part do the animals play? Usually if I have an animal in a dream, with something exotic like a penguin, I immediately reach for a resource on the totemic meaning of animals. But looking at the out-of-place house cat and the pig got me thinking. I started by chasing a penguin. Then I gave up easily and I turned to chase another penguin that also got away. Then the cat let me pet it. And then I just kind of looked at the pig. It was the actions that I did in the dream that gave me the idea to treat all three animals together as part of a pattern of habitual behavior. That interpretation fit well. Chasing the penguins represents a habit that I have of chasing things in life that are just out of my reach. Instead of savoring and valuing what's at hand and available, I had developed a seriously ingrained habit of looking at what I wish I had and focusing on that. And by doing so half-heartedly, I never get it. Then I find a house cat, and I actually get to reach out and pet it. I enjoy that experience, and so does the cat. It's symbolizing a simple habit of seeking sensual pleasure. Tasty food, music, fragrance, funky art, whatever. I know intellectually that none of that will give lasting satisfaction. The task that the dream is assigning me is to make refocusing on the things that truly matter, like helping others, for example, into a serious practice in my life. Finally, the hog. Yep, it's gluttony. Who doesn't love to snarf a box of donuts? Turn your headphones up to max and not be able to hear your wife? Sleep 12 hours on the weekend instead of fixing that sprinkler head for the third time. So that takes care of the animals. What is going on with my grandmother and my uncle? The uncle in my dream felt so unloved, and I personally perceived that my uncle never really reached his full potential in life, which is something that I can probably identify with a little bit as well. This is a part of me. Maybe I'm curious whether these kinds of struggles interfered with his ability to do that. So his apparent physical condition has improved, but on the day of this huge life change for me, he has a heart attack. It all comes to a head. The feeling of being unlovable just gets the better of him. The message here is that he has never been unlovable, and he has always been surrounded by unconditional love. And the way I know that is because of the way I feel about my grandmother. She is the most unconditionally loving person I've ever met. That's his mother, and she would literally do anything for him. She would walk through fire for her son without stopping to think. I am surrounded by unconditional love at all times, but I shut that truth out of my consciousness by clinging to a false idea. This is the underlying frozen attitude that I'm being invited to work on for years to come. And the Antarctic dream is hinting to me that addressing these three distinct bad habits will help me to access greater love for myself. Whether they're coming from a big dream or a daily dream, there are going to be changes we can make after we interpret a dream, which are sure to make our lives better. A great practice is to always finish interpreting a dream, even when you're unsure of the meaning of some of it, by choosing one positive step you'll take as soon as possible that came from the dream. In my case, these steps were simple to say and much harder to do. Live consciously, trying to help calm down these ingrained and self-limiting habits of greed for sensual pleasures, for lazing around, for staying in my comfort zone, and stop fixating on the one thing in my life that is just out of reach. Replaced a long-term pattern of feeling unworthy with affirming feelings and statements towards myself. Seek out evidence from my environment of the ways that I am loved. We all have sources of love in our lives, and what we focus on will be magnified. So shift that feeling of being glum to being grateful and see what unfolds. That's it. I bet everybody who's watched this video has struggled with those same thoughts. What makes a dream message so powerful is that you get the message at the time when you're best prepared to work on the issue. Sometimes when you unlock a dream, you may feel really daunted and say to yourself, "No way am I prepared to make this change." And the amazing thing is, you can say it, and it's okay. That dream message will come back to you in a new form. You may get the same message, but you will get it in a way that is as unique as your fingerprint, perfectly crafted to reach you. Thank you so much for taking time to learn about dream interpretation with DreamSpeak today. If you got value from this video, please click the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. Revisit this video as you work with the people and animals in your own dreams. Understanding the people in our dreams is one of the most fundamental dream interpretation skills. So, to learn more about the part that aspects play in our dreams, watch our video, "What Do People Mean in Dreams?" next. We would love to hear feedback from you. Stay curious and ask your questions below. Our socials are in the description. You can submit a dream at dreamspeak.us. Thank you so much for watching, and keep dreaming.